All right, so let's have a listen back. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna get this overall mix going, and first thing I'm gonna do is add a few drops, uh, drum breaks, that kind of stuff. So as you can see, I'm just setting up this arrangement here on Windows, uh, and I'm gonna just be going over the overall arrangement and just seeing how it looks, and then adding some more transition effects so that we can get more excitement out of the track, so to speak. So we're gonna listen first to the intro and see if we need to do anything else with the intro. Okay, here we go. Okay, so from that respect, I think right now we're gonna add maybe something along this area here and here. So I'm gonna load up one of my instruments here. Let's look into the screen. Okay, so we're gonna use probably some of these sounds here. Okay, so here we go. So now we're gonna put in a riser sound just to get a different effect. Okay, so here we go. Adding in the riser. Okay, so now that we've got that in effect, so the next thing to do is we're probably going to add a couple other sort of like transitional effects just to kind of complete the arrangement, and then we'll work on the mix. I guess while we're at it, what I'm gonna also try to do is just get more of the arrangement done as well. So I'm gonna listen back. We're gonna listen back and also do a little bit of mixing. Right now, what I'm gonna do is adjust the levels of these particular transitional effects, making sure that they sound somewhat decent. Right now, as it stands, it's a little bit loud, so I'm just gonna bring it back about 10 dB. Now, thing that I like to do is before anything, how can I say, before I even work on any mix, I always like to gain stage everything, so that I get balanced levels, and I don't usually add a lot of EQ or too much compression, but just to get ahead of the game today, I did. I ran a couple channel compressors here, and EQs at what do you call it, channel strips. I'll go over the channel strips in my recording process anyways, or my mixing process with this particular track. So yeah, so just bear with me, guys, as I'm going through with this, and yeah. So with these transitional effects, I'm just gonna add a bit of EQing. I'm gonna basically roll off a little bit of the bottom end, cut off a bit of the bottom end. What I am gonna do just to save time is I'm just gonna load up Isotope, Neutron, and I am going to just start off with a preset just to save a bit of just to save a little bit of time here. Okay, and then right here I'm going to actually roll off of even more. I'm gonna just run this here. There we go. Okay, don't mind Crispin, he was coughing there. No, he doesn't have COVID. Sorry, bad taste, bad joke. But you know, everybody's getting all freaked out about the whole COVID scenario, right? So I'm just being, you know, we're too tense about it. That's all I gotta say. Okay, so it's sounding pretty good there. So we'll just listen back to everything and see how it all sounds. Okay, guys, so I'm just gonna go over this particular sound. I'm not too happy about it. It doesn't seem to sound right to me. I don't really like the way it transitions, so I'm gonna play around with it and see how this works. Okay, so yeah, that one's not too bad. I think I can cope with that. This is what we've got so far, and we're gonna work with it. This particular track is actually gonna be one of my free beats that I'm giving out on my online website. So, with that being said, um, yeah, I will have a version that you can actually license out. But this is going to be a free beat that I'm going to be giving out to the world for artists that want to rap on it. They're into the West Coast feel, G Funk feel, and that sort of like, you know, that's that pretty much. So let me just now start work on the mix and see how everything's gonna sound. Oh yeah, one other thing, guys. Just so that you all understand, my broadcasts are not scripted. Okay, so when I screw up, I actually screw up. That's just the human factor of it. Um, to spend hours on end trying to make a perfect edit, and a lot of these other YouTubers, no disrespect to them, they're doing a fantastic job of creating the perfect YouTube channel in terms of presentation and whatnot. I think I'm a firm believer in just being organic about what I'm doing. I could sit here and edit for days, and I do know a little bit of video editing and whatnot, but the thing is that, I'm coming from a more organic result and an organic approach to my channel. So hopefully you all appreciate that. Yeah, I make mistakes. I'm a human being. But that's the human side of it, right? I'm not trying to make my channel or my videos completely perfect because, yeah, there's entertainment and value from both on the organic side, and then there's value in terms of when you're editing a perfect take, so to speak, right? So, I will do some editing here and there on this, but at the same time, I'm not trying to make a perfectly produced video. It's because it takes time. Number one. Number two, I want to produce as much content without too many delays. Okay, so hopefully you all will understand that. Okay, so let's get on with this mix. doing some effects on the strings, adding a little delay and reverb. I'm also going to do a little bit down here on the transitional effects and up here on the transitional effects here. So if you look onto the screen here, let me just move the mixer applet. Here and here, we're going to add some effects and delay, compress, and EQ these areas. Again, like when I do transitional effects, I try not to put too many in there because you know what? It can detract away from the listener. Yeah, so it looks like they could use a little bit of panning. So I'm going to use some sort of automated panning just for these two sections here and here. Okay, so let's try that. All right, so we got the panning effects done. We've got that taken care of. So now it's just to get the levels right and then bounce it down to 2 tracks. One other thing I'd like to make a note of is I've already thrown up a couple mixed channels here, and I'll show you guys. I have here I'm using the SSL waves. So I'm using it for my drum sounds. Okay. Snare, hi-hat. So you can just see all these going. I'll just play everything back here. For the bass, I'm also doing all SSL. I figured just for the heck of it, guys, I'm trying to make it set up mixed like as if I'm mixing off an SSL board. So I'm throwing up these SSL gene channels just so that we get a general idea of what it sounds like through an SSL. Now, this is the other thing. I do have SSL outboard. I have an outboard mixer, basically a summing amplifier. I have the SSL A to D. I can run this stuff all through that, but for convenience sake and for speed and time, um, and to save time on setup, I'm just gonna do an in the box mix. Usually, I like to mix this stuff outside the box, but for all intents and purposes, it's just workflow today. This is going to be a free beat. Not to say that mixing in the box makes it sound cheaper. It's not even that. It's just for efficiency because I'm on a tight schedule of getting stuff done. So the quality is pretty much gonna be the same, no different. I do offer analog summing mixes because I just like the sound of it, and I'm a gear slut, so I like to collect gear. That's right, Crispin. I'm a gear slut. He had to think about that, right, people? Yeah, he had to think about that one. Yeah. If you only you knew how much of a gear slut that I am. Well, I'll give you guys a tour of my studio someday. Actually, what I'm a yeah, you see, you heard that. You heard that here. Repeat that again, Crispin. Sorry, repeat that again. I am what? I am what? A gear slut for real. Yeah. He knows. He is too though. No word of a lie. You should see his setup. He's got a dope ass setup. Actually, my boy Crispin, he's gonna have his own YouTube channel. Great, big, nice, great things are gonna happen between us. Mind you, um, he and I are gonna be teaming up. We're gonna have our own channel for that. He's gonna have his own channel. I have my own channel. He's got his own channel. He's a master of the boom bap. When I say he's a master at it on boom bap, hip hop, and lo-fi, he's the guy. I'm telling you. But anyways, um, I'm just an all rounder, as they would say. But he's really good with the boom bap and the lo-fi stuff. That's what he's mastered. If you're a martial arts master, yeah, he's a grandmaster in the boom bap, grandmaster in the lo-fi. So yeah, as you can see on the screen here, we got these SSL channels. So I have it for all the drums and for the bass. Okay, so we'll just play it back so you get to see all these LED lights go off, and you can see how everything's sounding with these compressors on. Okay, so here we go. Right now, what we've got is the general mix with those SSL channels up. Okay, so another thing. I did say we were gonna run basically all these plugins with SSL. However, with some of the other other instruments, I think we're just gonna use just other plugins. But for the kick, the snare, the bass, and the drums, I want the SSL feel, the sound. Uh, it's just very punchy. The strings and the transitional effects, I will run them through a channel. Uh, Basically what we call the NLS channel, and I'll show you what that is. It's a very very cool very cool plugin, the NLS. Okay, it's waves. It basically emulates a discrete amplifier. Okay, so those of you who don't understand what that is basically, if you're running through a board, you got the preamp section, right? So you plug your microphones in, you plug your instruments. Okay, on an SSL board or any console for that matter, like even a Mackie, uh, as a basic example, you've got your inputs, your XLR inputs, and your TRS quarter-inch inputs. Now, that being said, after those inputs is what we call an op amp, uh, or a preamp. Okay, usually preamp can be either transformer or transformerless. Usually though, transformer preamps like Neves and SSL consoles, they have the harmonics is what you're after. So Waves has come out with a very very wonderful product called the NLS. And what I'm going to do is set up one on bus 2, and or actually, you know what? I've got enough. I've got enough. How can I put it? I've got enough CPU power here that I should run everything else through 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 each channel. I can run in an NLS. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to just take down these. Just close up these ones here, and then I'm going to open up an NLS channel on the other one. So here we have the NLS channels, people. Okay, so each instrument here. Okay, so essentially, normally, you've got these different channel settings here. Okay, this one spike is a SSL. This is I think one of the older type British boards as well. I just can't remember what this is modeled after. I think it's like a Trident or something like that. And then you have your Neve. We're gonna focus on just sticking with the SSL. And generally, what I'll do is I'll add a little bit more volume gain to everything here. I've already gain staged, so here what I'm doing is just adding a little bit more to everything else, and then I can gain stage again and trim back a bit if need be. but just to give it a little bit more depth. And the idea with these channels is that they'll give you a bit more depth since it's mimicking the analog stage. Okay, so let's hear back. I don't know whether if you guys can hear the difference with the NLS channels, but I definitely can hear a difference on my monitors. It seems to make everything sit better in the mix. Um, and it sounds more organic. That's the only way I can explain it. Um, some people like it, some people don't. I like my mixes to sound more analog, so that's the way it is. I'm used to that sound. Not to say that digital is bad, because it ain't. This is digital technology but made analog. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna fiddle around with this riser effect and also do something with it to make it sound more interesting. Okay guys, so basically what I did here was I used a, you could say, vocoder filter bank on this effect, the riser effect, and then I used neutron to EQ and compress, smoothing out the sound a bit so that it doesn't sound too dissonant, and it just transitions nicely without any harshness. So yeah, let's have a listen back to that. All right, so that seems to be sounding good too now. Okay, so we're gonna go for actually mixing the entire track down. I'm just gonna have a listen back and then work on the levels. If you guys have any questions, please later on post them on my channel. But here, let's give everything once through. So I'm just working on a master mix, but I'm finding that I'm not really liking that synth tone as well. So I'm going to fix that. So bear with me while I do that as well. But we're pretty close to getting this mix done. And then I'll I'll uh, I'll post this up on my dappadonmusic.com beat site once I have it up and going. Still in the process of being developed, but yeah. So let me just work on this particular synth note. It's not sitting well with me. So let's work on that. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. What I did there was I was just adjusting the pitch control. So so yeah, as a result, because we're getting pitch control set up, it sounds a lot better as I would feel. Okay, that seems to be sounding pretty good. So let's hear everything back, guys. Okay, from the very top, we'll get this arrangement just put aside here, and then we'll listen back and then continue on with mixing this down. Hey guys, so that concludes our session for today. Thank you for tuning in. I do apologize for the mono feed on the vocals. We'll get that sorted out in the next session that we have. If you could please subscribe and also give us a thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated for all the work that's being put in. In the future, we'll have a lot more other types of content, such as equipment reviews, on software, on plugins, and also interviews with different people, playlists, all sorts of interesting things, more value-added content. So do appreciate, again, do subscribe and do give us a thumbs up. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.